how to mix any house music song. So in this video today, we're gonna work on a song that I haven't released yet, I haven't mixed yet, which is completely like the foundation is almost done. So we're gonna basically cover what plugins we're using, how to mix them properly, and how you can do it and implement all this knowledge in your own productions. Before you even think about mixing the songs and what plugins you want to add to it, first of all, you need to make sure that the sounds are matching together. And that's basically a skill you're gonna develop as a music producer over the years to basically understand if this synth matches to this bass line. It's something that it's like basically a feeling, like a muscle you train. It's also a feeling you develop to basically be sure that this sound actually matches together with the other sound. So this is one of those songs that I've been working on with the other producer, Tech. We haven't released this yet, but it's still in the process of making it. But as you can see, I haven't done any mixing to this whole song, but it sounds already very, very clean, and it's actually quite surprising that without mixing, this song can sound so good. So then obviously the second very important thing is with mixing is that you're getting the volumes and the levels right from each single element. So every single time I'm putting in a new element into the song, I'm always making sure that it already sounds good mixed. Obviously a very common trick is to use a reference track. So you're basically downloading a song that is already professionally released, you put it into FL Studio, you basically drag it into one of those channels, you basically create a new insert, then here you're gonna basically name it reference track. Maybe even change a different color, something which you haven't used before, something like this. And then you're going to basically take a track and just reference it. So in this case, let's just take one of my own tracks, put it in here. Obviously then decrease the volume because it's already mastered, it's way too loud. And then we're going to basically mute this track and then mute also the other one. Everybody on your feet. And then with our ears, we're going to focus on certain elements. For example, the kick and the bass. Does it sound similar? Obviously now in this specific track, the sound selection is not the same. The kick sounds obviously different, but it still sounds in a good balance. The volumes are perfectly fine. I think it sounds really good. Very important as well is that you don't overpower the kick. Obviously, if the kick is also too quiet, it's not going to punch through the whole mix. But a very normal thing that I would usually do is always use an LFO tool, which is basically the sidechain compression. Sidechain compression means that every single time the kick is playing, the volume of the bass is ducked down. So because both elements have a lot of energy, a lot of low end, you just want one of those elements to punch through. In this case, we want the kick to punch through, and the bassline volume is basically ducked down every single time the kick is playing. Without it, it would sound like this. Not too bad. Also make sure that you don't cut the volume completely down to 0. Just like find a good balance somewhere there. Alright, the next thing, for example, we would now do, as you can see that the kick has a very high transient here, and that's gonna probably bite us in the if we're not doing this properly. So what I would first of all do, I would use a bit of compression or limiting. So in this case, let's just use FL Studio stock plugins and use a compressor. And we're just gonna compress the high end here. But just very tiny, because we don't want to squish the whole kick. Attack to 0 because it's a very high transient here, and if this transient is too loud, then we're gonna basically have problems mastering the song because there's like this very high transient. We'd have to put a limiter on the whole master, and that's gonna basically create a lot of problems. If you've gotten any value by this video so far, please make sure to like it right now, subscribe to my channel to not miss any house music production tutorials in the future. But I think this is perfectly fine. Also, let's make the release very short because once the compressor hits, we want it to very quickly disappear. We don't want to compress also this part of the kick because that's basically the low end and the whole energy. So very short. Like this. Now we just want to focus on the drums and also the synths. So let's first of all mute all the elements except the drums. This sounds already so clean. I don't even know what much to do with it. So now what I would usually do is I would add a bit of saturation, a bit of stereo imaging, and a tiny bit of EQ and compression. So first of all, let's work with a hi-hat. Hi-hats usually can be very much in the center, but they can also be panned a little bit to the left and to the right. But they can also put a little bit into the stereo. But just do it very subtle. Don't overdo it. I already really like this, so let's now add another saturator here. Perfectly fine. To be honest, there's not even much I have to do here. The clap is very dry, so now what I would do is I would create an auxiliary channel where I'm basically connecting to the clap, and then we're going to create a tiny bit of reverb. So how we're doing this is basically I'm taking this one and just assigning it to the next channel. This channel I'm going to call double-click clap aux channel. And here we're going to basically upload a reverb. Let's just use Fruity Reverb, make it to 100% wet, 0% dry, pretty short decay. And now we just have to do this, and we're going to basically work how much reverb we're going to hear with the clap. Way too much. I like this. Now comes a very important tip, especially in elements like the hi-hats, crashes, and claps. We need to make sure that we're using the right amount of compression or limiting. Especially those elements have a lot of transients, and if you want to master the song, you're going to see those very high peaks, kind of like a crypto market, in your audio file. And that's going to be very problematic to master the whole song. So make sure that you're compressing those songs and you put the attack to very, very low, or let's say even 10 milliseconds, because then you're making sure that you're not destroying your sound, and just apply it very subtle. For the height, we haven't really done that yet, so we're going to basically do that together. For the limiter again, go in the compression section, bring the threshold down, ratio up to, let's say, 2:1, 4:1, and just listen to your ears. Don't try to overanalyze this. Let's bring the attack to, let's say, 10 milliseconds so we don't destroy the sound. Bring the threshold down a bit more. I maybe even think that we can even apply a little bit of EQ here. So we're going to put a fruity parametric, and we're going to basically boost or reduce a few frequencies, and we're going to test a few things again. Tiny bit of boost on the top end. I like also if we boost a little bit this part here, but just tiny bit. Without it. So what you can see now here as well, that there's this little tiny peak. I'm gonna just make this bigger. So usually with hi-hats, they have a lot of times harsh frequencies between 3000 and 10,000 hertz. So usually those harsh frequencies are between 1000 and 8000 hertz. So in this case, we're gonna boost and see if it sounds really bad. Because you can see it very clearly here, we're gonna just basically reduce it a tiny bit like this. Basically cleaning up the height a little bit. And there's a tiny little dip here as well. I don't even know why we have this dip here. So we're boosting this one here because it seems like there's a gap here. Because we want to fill up the whole frequencies, we're going to basically just boost it a little bit. Obviously, if you're sick of always having to upload all the plugins, the reverb plugins, assigning all the channels, coloring them, there's definitely a shortcut that I can recommend you to do. And the solution to this problem is that I created this DF Original house music production template. As you can see in the playlist, every single time you open a project, this is exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see instrument 1, 2, 3, automations, master automations, and even here you have 60 ready to go mixing chains, basically with 70 channels for your house music song. So every single time I start a new song, this is exactly what I'm seeing here. Already a bunch of people purchased this template. I think you should do that too, because it's going to save you a bunch of time. Really easy for you. If you want to purchase this one, make sure to go on gumroad.com. The link for that is under this video, and purchase it for less than $10. It's just going to save you so much time. You don't have to do this whole process again. It has already all the plugins. If it obviously doesn't load for your computer, make sure to exchange it with the plugins that you have and you're using. It might take a bit of time to set it up, but once you have it set up, it's just going to save you so much time. If you're obviously still struggling how to produce professional house music, I'm also offering one-on-one online coaching. where I'm teaching music production, mixing, mastering, the marketing side of music production. We also just recently hit 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. So if you need any help with this, make sure to message me privately on Instagram. The link for that is also under this video. And thanks a lot for watching this video, bro. I appreciate you. And also, if you haven't checked out this video as well, which explains exactly how to produce Zara house music, make sure to check it out. It's a very easy tutorial, really easy to follow, just for you to do it as well. And I'll see you, bro, in the next video.